turn on with some music.
I wouldn't know about the music value so off here.
I'm turning it on right now. I should only be picking that up.
Commercial started.
Yeah.
Did you hit go live?
Yes.
Oh, are you live?
No, it should be a music screen.
Oh, did you hit go live?
Oh.
Yes.
And it's picking up our sound.
No, it should be a music screen.
Well, it should be on. It should be on. Hello, everybody. Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today's Sunday, Sew Sunday, where I hope to inspire you to sew on a Sunday or any day of the week because we love to sew, right? That's why we're all here, to create something. So today's the 7th of August. Is it August? Yes, it's August.
August 7th. Tomorrow's
Yeah, tomorrow's the first day of school here, where I live, at least.
And all the parents are jumping.
All the parents are jumping for joy. That's what Scott said. But you should be able to hear him, because there's two things picking up sound. Today we're using the multiple camera system thing. I'm still not used to it. I still can't get certain wireless things to work, but whatever, I'll figure it out another time. I think it's my computer, the input. But anyways, I can't go all the way back to the beginning, but hello Kathleen, Judy, Kim, Tamala, Delia, Shirley, Tanya, Brenda, Ginger, Robin, Beth, Amy, let's see, Beverly, Melster, Zandra, Linda, Sandra, Dawn, Jacqueline, Sharon, Glennie, Tracy. Let's see. We're still going. Another Mary, June, MJ, Sharon, Rebecca, Jane, Jeannie. And if I missed you, I'm very sorry, but there's so many names. So hello, everybody. Welcome. Today I have decided to work on a little project that's a table runner. So let's go over to the cutting table so you can see this table. Oh man, is it really froze? Oh, Give me 2 seconds, guys. I shall fix this problem immediately. I shall fix the problem. I don't know why that happened. Sometimes they get frozen when I am not doing anything. There we go. All right, so here we are at the cutting table. I am making a diamond in the rough table runner. It's supposed to come out 16.5 by 45.5 by Open Gate Quilts. It will look like this. Oops, right there. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and we are going to make this project today. Everything is just how it comes in the little package. So I'm going to determine what's what. Ooh, and it comes with a little binding miter tool as well. So it's a little binding miter tool. I guess it's for the corners because they're not quite as you can see by the picture, they're corners like that. So let's see what fabric is what in here. Again, this is not my pattern, so I can't get out the measurements, but Monique at Open Gate Quilts does pretty good patterns. All right, so this is going to assumingly be a 12 by 21 inch piece. No, that's not 12. This is a 9.5 by 21 light. Yep, 9.5 by 21 light. And I'm going to be passing these to Scott to press, so turn the iron on, Mr. Scotty, so you can do this.
I get to work.
Here is a, I don't know, let's see how many inches this is. This pretty blue is a 13 inch by 14 inch rectangle. We have this pretty tannish color. Again, this one looks to be 13 inch. Each two, a tape and a blue. So those are those two pieces. Then I should have a, I don't know what size this is, so let's see. This is a 13, two of each, two blues. Okay, so there's two blues of that one, so this is going to be the taupe color for that one as well.
Which month is this from?
This is from, I don't know which month. Becca might be here and she might know, because I don't know. She's the one that sends me the ones that she doesn't do. And then this is a 12.5 by 21 inch piece. And then this must be the binding, which is width of fabric by, I don't know. Yeah, it's a width of fabric piece. So I'm just going to set that aside because I don't need the binding to last.
Well, I don't know what piece you need first.
All of them. Alright, so I'm going to go to the instructions here. And again, I can't give you the measurements, but you'll be watching how I cut this stuff. And you'll get the general idea of what we're doing here. So I'm going to get myself a ruler and a rotary cutter. And I'm going to read this paper right here at the cutting. So from the main blueprint, which is
right there,
the big one. That's the main blueprint, the 12.5 by 21 inch piece. So we're going to start cutting that one first. We'll just move these others to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and cut.
You and Becca were so funny on Karen Brown's channel.
Yes. It's fun to hang out with other YouTubers. And we have fun. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and straighten this up because it says to cut. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. I'm going to straighten it out first because not all the cuts are perfectly straight, and she does give you, most of the time, a ½ an inch more than you actually need on the cuts. And literally just cut off a minuscule amount, and I'm going to come over to the desired number. here. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Am I supposed to throw some trash?
10, 11, 12. Yep. Yeah, please. Alright, so I'm going to come over to the desired number, cut away that extra 1/2 inch. I might need to change my Martelli blade already. I just changed it like 2 months ago. But I've been cutting a lot of stuff, and then I'm going to turn this and cut the number that it needs to be. So I'm going to straighten off the selvage first, and now that it's this number, I can actually just use my regular cutter. I mean my regular ruler, not the big huge enormous thing. And I'll go over to the number it says. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, right there. Let's count again. 5. Yep, that's it. Right here. And then it says to cut some more from it. So I just need one of those big, huge squares and a bunch of smaller squares that are... Okay. I'm trying to follow the directions here. 1.
You can do it, bro.
And...
Any more at this moment?
2. And I did go a little wonky right there. I don't mean to, but sometimes it happens. Yeah. I'm going to stack these two up and subcut them to the number it says to subcut them. I'm just going to line my straight edges up and subcut 1, 2. One single thread. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7 and 8. So I needed 8 of these squares, and then this, I guess, is a disregard piece.
That's extra?
Yep. So I throw all my extras out of the way. Now let's grab, not that. We're going to go to the light fabric now and cut it. So this is the only light fabric in here. So I'm going to set these pieces aside and grab my light and cut. Okay, so this one's just squares. So I'm just going to line it up. That looks to be a straight line right there. So we're just going to go ahead and cut 3 strips off of here that are the number it says to cut. Sometimes I wish I could give you guys the math, but since it's not my pattern, I don't want to get in trouble doing that. Although Monique wouldn't get mad at me if I accidentally did. And the 3rd. Alright, here, it's definitely my blade, and I'm not going to change it during this video because I'm just pre-cutting everything anyway. Alright, so I'm going to turn and subcut, but I'm going to stack them all up first. And then I'm cutting 16 of them. So I'm going to start by cutting a straight line at the start. And I'm going to cut 16 of my squares. So that's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12. 6 and 6 is 12. And 4 more makes 16. Alright, there's those. And this I'm just going to set aside. So there's 16 of those. Now I'm going to move on from each of the 13 by 14 rectangles. So I guess I'm cutting them all exactly the same. There's no selvage on that one, but there's a selvage on this one. So I'm just going to stack them all up nicely. Right there. And this is Henry Glass fabric, it looks like. Some of it is, yeah, it's all Henry Glass if you guys are curious. I don't think it ever says on the pattern, though, what the fabrics are. Sometimes I'm lucky and get the selvage, sometimes I'm not. But if you guys are interested, Open Gate Quilts. Did I even make a thing for Open Gate? I'm pretty sure I did. So that way it can be thrown in the chat, but I don't have one. So if one of my moderators knows how to get a link to Open Gate Quilts, you guys can do that for me. Alright, so I'm going to line this up on a line, and it says to cut 1, 12 by 14.
Becca's on now if you wanted to ask for one.
I'm talking to myself real quick. 1, 12 and a half by 14. 4, 12 and a half by 3-inch rectangles. Which way is the 12 and a half? That's that way. That's 13. Doesn't really say 12 and a half by 14 inches. 3-inch rectangles. Okay. Saying to cut this way. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this way. Cut all the selvages off. Yeah, I definitely need to change my blade. And we're going to cut rectangles, so there we go. And I'm standing for this because I didn't realize I needed to cut in this direction and not the other direction. 1. 2. 3 and 4. And this is the disregard right there. All right, and then they need to be a certain number this way. So I'm just going to line them all up again and cut them a certain number the other direction. Right here.
Is the two good ones back?
Yes.
Okay. I just put the fence that
And we're coming over 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12 and a half. Right there.
Oh, your nails are always pretty.
Thank you. It's about time to get them done, though. They're overgrown. Alright, and there's all those pieces. So all the cutting is now complete. Yay. Yay! Alright. Move that out of my way. Move that out of my way. And we're going to put you guys back. Actually, no, we're just going to lay this out right here in front of you so that you can see. This is going to go in the center. Just like that. And it looks like it's going to start with one of these on each side. I'm going to put this one here and that one there. And then it goes to blue. So it's going to have a blue. Is it touching them? No, it's not, because it has a piece at the end, which is going to be snowballed. This is going to go here, and this is going to be snowballed here, and snowballed there, and this is going to be snowballed here, and snowballed here, and they're going to be directional, so I'm going to draw the lines on them, and that's going to go there, and there, like this and like this, and then they'll get snowballed again with another one of these, and another one of these. That's going to go there, that's going to go there. Oh, I want these on opposite sides. Probably going to run out of room here. Again, I'm going to get a snowballed corner here, snowballed corner here.
What do you mean by snowballed?
We're going to be sewing a line from corner to corner a certain direction, and then it's going to be, let's see, I think it's this direction. They're facing up, so it's going to be a snowball from this corner to that corner, like this. And it's going to be the same on this one, because it looks like they're facing up like this. So we're going to be drawing lines on those. So I guess I'm going to, it's going to start with this one this time, and go like this and like that. And then obviously one is going to go here. Another one is going to come over here. And this time it's going to be this one on the bottom and this one on the top. And those will get snowballed, and then the last ones will be these, and obviously they all get snowballed. Where am I missing a piece? I need 4 more, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 4 more. Okay, we're going to move this out of the way. Yep, the directions are off on that a little bit. So I'm going to get 4 more squares from my leftover piece right here. Because that was not enough. So there's 2 for that one. And 2 for this one. There we go. So now I have enough for her to snowball all this too. There we go. So what I'm going to do, so those are going to go on here. No, I need 4 more even. Look at that. And this one gets this one. It needs 4 more even. And that one gets that one. Yeah, because there's 4 more pieces left. So it was definitely off, and now I don't have enough for 4 more. Nope. Alright, I'm just, oh, there they are right there. I didn't need to cut those. They were buried, look at that. 1, 2, 3,
They were hidden.
4. I hid them, so that's what messed it up. So I have 4 extra. That's okay. I knew it looked funny. I thought I cut a lot. Alright, so now all we need to do now is figure out which way we're snowballing these corners. So I'm going to take a marker or pen or erasable something, pencil or erasable anything, and I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner. I'm not actually going to be using the line. I'm going to be using my seam tape, but I'm just showing you guys. I'm going to be drawing a line from one corner to the other, and then I'm going to sew on that line from this corner to this bottom corner, and I'm going to be doing that on all of my pieces. So I'll be going again from this corner to this corner. So they're all going to be facing a different direction. So you can see that the lines are opposite of each other here and here. So each time they're going to be a different direction, and I'm just going to be picking them up from where I have them laid out because I know the direction that they need to be sewn. So I'm going to take this first piece right here, and I'm going to bring you guys over to the sewing machine as soon as the camera stops moving because I hit it with my head accidentally. We're going to go over to the sewing machine. There we go. We're going to move that out of the way. So here's my drawn line, and I don't know how, oops. Let me get a thing to get rid of the lighting because it's so strong.
It is a little bright.
It's a little bit on the bright side. Alright, there it is. So you can see the line from corner to corner, and I'm going to sew on that drawn line. Just like this. And then we're going to be rolling it back and pressing it so that the corners match up just like this, just like that, and then we're going to press it. So that's the piece, but we're also going to be cutting away this, and I will cut this away with scissors because I really don't care. So I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch seam, and that's what the piece will look like. So I'm going to place that back where it goes and grab the other one that's next to me, and this one gets sewn the other direction. So I'm going to go from corner to corner on my drawn line. I'm going to fold it back and go, hey, it matches up where I need it to, just like that, and go, okay, that's right. Open it up and cut away my excess with the scissors. I'm not very good at this. I always cut crooked lines. So there's number 2. So I'm going to place it back and grab, now that I know which direction they go, I'm going to grab another one and just lay it right here. Line it up, and I'm going to be using my seam tape, which is this stuff right here, and I'm going to go from corner to corner. I'm going to line my seam tape up down here with the line on the corner and follow that from one side to the other. Again, fold it back and go, hey, it matches, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the deal here now. And I'm going to cut away my 1/4 inch seam allowance. Set the piece aside, put it where it goes, grab another one.
Do you use Gutermann or Aurifil thread?
I'm using Aurifil right now. I'm using, I don't know what color because I don't know. It's cream though, I do know that.
Do you use Gutermann?
Yes, I've used Gutermann. I use all threads. I use every kind of thread that there is. You name it, I've used it. Why? Because I have tons of different kinds of thread. So I'm just cutting away my 1/4 inch seam allowance with scissors and then placing my pieces back where they go. So I'm going to just keep going until all of them are attached. And each time I'm placing the piece back where it goes because that helps. And since this is a small project, it helps even more. I'm just going to press this back, place it where it goes, grab the next. Oops, I forgot which way this one's. Oh yeah, this one sews from the corner, like this. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm also going to line up the next 2, even though you guys cannot see what I'm doing. just so that I know where I want the colors to lay. That one's going to go on that side. So this one on this side this time, and that one on this side.
It's pretty big, huh?
Yep. And then this one on this side, and that one on this side. Sorry guys, I'm over at the table. That way I can know where all my pieces need to go. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. So this one's this to that. So I'm sewing it like this. Cut the excess away because I know it lines up. Finger pressing it back, which I usually do first and then line it up, but today I'm going a little backwards because I'm in a tight point here. So I'm going to line it up. It's really cool that she adds a photo of what the quilt is to look like in here, because if you're at all thinking you got something wrong, just refer to the photo and that's how you know you're doing good. That's what's cool about most kits, is there's a photo to refer to, even if it's not just a regular picture and it's the picture of the quilt itself. It gives you something to refer to. But like I said, these patterns are pretty easy to do. So now I'm going to move on to the other side, which are going to be a totally different direction. So here you could see at the mat, these ones I'm going to be sewing from here to here, there to there on this side. So on this side I want it to face this way, this side I want them to be on the opposite side. So if I take this piece just the way it is over to the sewing machine, I'm just going to show you guys from that angle and sew my corner to corner. This time it's just the opposite direction. Pressing it back and then putting it back where it goes, just like that. So I'm going to take this one and sew from here to here now.
When you're not done doing this live, would you normally sew a second seam to create half square triangle from the cutoffs?
Yes, I would. I would definitely sew a second seam for half square triangles, but since I'm not doing that right now, I'm just sewing them. I'll do the half square triangle thing later. In a second. So again, I'm just going to keep pulling from here and sewing. So let's go back to the sewing machine so that you can see how I'm sewing them. So again, I'm just lining it up in the corner where it needs to go. I know exactly which way I'm sewing. Sew it, move it, cut it, place it back where it goes. And for now I'm just finger pressing everything, but we'll have Scott press while I chit chat before anything else in the midst of assembling everything. That was correct, okay. I almost had to take a second look to make sure I was doing this one correct. Lining them up.
Did you put color on your light?
Did I what?
A pinkish color on your light, or what?
I put a orange paper in there to cover the light. So that way they could see me sewing. I always forget about covering the light so that it's visible for you guys, or else you end up with a glare on everything.
Yes, it looks better.
Alright. Grab this one. Sew it on. Notice I'm just doing them one at a time. If I was not on camera, I would totally chain piece the whole, each side. I would chain piece them all. But I'm on camera, so I'm not chain piecing nothing right now. I'm just doing them one at a time for you guys so you can see. For those of you that are beginners, the Open Gate Quilts project boxes are definitely fun. I've been doing mine every month since I started getting them. And I know you guys would like them if you try them. I'm pretty sure she has boxes available too right now. It's always something different in every month, which makes it even more fun. And last one is this one. So far I've only had a problem with one project in one box, and that was the little caddy to put stuff in. I actually was stumped with that one and had a big issue. And if Catitude is in the chat, she knows what we're talking about here. that we did that after she left. After I was done with the live stream with you guys, she didn't leave right away. She stayed. They had dinner and stuff, and yeah, it was let's just say one of those projects that drove both of us crazy.
Yeah, you even had me read directions for
Yeah, and Scott even had to read the directions, and we still screwed it all up. And I'll show you guys what the project was. It's this little thing right here.
Did you switch cameras?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I empty all this stuff out, I'm going to turn it the proper way. This was the little project. And I had to put different lining because we made 2 of these using the fabric. But here's the little project with the little cubbies. And let's just say the pattern makes it look easy, but it's really not. This was the only thing I struggled with. The lining doesn't sit in it correctly unless you turn it the opposite direction. Then it sits perfectly and lays nice and flat. So, as you can see, this was the first project I struggled with from Open Gate Quilts so far. So, yeah, that's the only one, which was last month's box. It was the Box It Up Notions caddy, and that's what it's supposed to hold in it. It was the Box It Up Notions caddy, and I had issues with it, let me tell you. And I don't usually struggle with stuff like that, but I did. Me and Kathy had issues. Alright, so here we are. All of my pieces are on. I'm going to have Scott press these nice and flat before we get to the next step. So while he's pressing, I'm just going to turn you guys back to the front camera. And we can hang out. Are you kidding me?
It's from Open Gates, right?
Yeah, Open Gates. Come on. Unfreeze, camera. Unfreeze.
Camera freezes a lot there today.
Yeah, this one's freezing a lot today. Hold on, guys.
Am I just ironing every piece here?
Yes.
Okay.
And then put it back where you found it.
Oh, so I can
There we
do
go.
one at a time.
Don't ask me how that keeps happening, but it does. Sorry, guys. Technology. Every time I step away from a camera for too long, the camera puts itself in some kind of frozen pause thing. I think while I'm here, though, let's check to see if I have an Open Gate thingamabobber, because I don't remember if I've made one or not.
What do you mean an Open Gate thingamabobber?
Thing for their project boxes. I don't usually do them on live stream, that's why.
How hot is it here today?
Today is, I don't know. We're going to have to go look.
According to the computer, it's only 110, but I think it's hotter.
Let's see what degrees it is. Well, I haven't touched the temperature thing on my phone all day, so it is 106. That's what it says.
It
with
was over 110 earlier.
nasty. It's not just like thin clouds in the sky, but since this morning, when I first got up this morning and went outside, you could not see the mountains all the way around this town. The whole town is covered in mountains except for along the lake, but behind the lake you could still see mountains, like on the California side. you couldn't see a bit of it. Now you see a haze of it, but definitely dust just settled all around this whole entire town. And very, very humid this morning. Don't know why, but it just was. So, Tiffany enjoyed your guest the other day from Australia. Yes, I did too. I'm glad you guys did. Yeah, she's here right now in the chat. Yeah. She is most likely sitting with some Wi-Fi in a hotel in Los Angeles, California. Had it
Tell them anyone can come visit us if they want.
I didn't have a clue. I found a video and learned how. That's one I haven't done for you guys, is the 4 at a time flying geese. I think I did, though.
Well, anyone that wants can come visit us.
Yeah.
But they should come in winter.
Anybody that wants to come visit, you guys can come visit me anytime. I tell you this all the time. I don't think you'll want to stay at my house, though. You'll have to stay at a hotel, you know, because we don't have much room here, literally. It's tight in this room. It's tight in every room. And then, yeah. But you guys are welcome to come visit and hang out and sew with me. And if you are 100% okay with being on live stream, we could be on live stream. But the best time of year is to come in the winter time, when I'm freezing and you probably won't be.
Here, figure these out. Which one? How did they go? I took 2. Oh,
just like that.
The white goes in. Okay. The white goes in. I see.
Alrighty. While he's pressing, I guess I'll move these little tiny cutoffs out of the way. Put my seam guide on, because I definitely want a 1/4 inch seam when I go to sew the next step, which is attaching the whole thing. This is going pretty quick.
Hey, I get it. I'm standing right here.
Here, take these 2. I know where everything goes.
You do your thing. I'm doing mine.
Alright, so while he pressed most of those, I'm just going to start grabbing these. So I'm going to put you back at the cutting table so you can see which pieces I'm grabbing, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Patty lived in Havasu for a summer. Thought she would die. Not me. Everyone else says that, but I don't.
I say it every summer.
Scott says it every summer, yes. Not me, though. I don't mind the heat. It does not bother me. All right. Here we go. Cutting table. So I'm going to take my big, huge square, and I'm going to take one of these, and I am going to attach that to this, and then I'm going to attach this square right here to the end of this one right here. So I'm going to start by attaching this first, right here. We're going to go to the sewing machine so that you can see.
Is that it for now, or am I doing
Nope, that's it.
Oh. Man, I was good to go.
We're going to come over here, move that out of the way, and we're going to line up this end right here. Right there. I'm going to line up this corner right here, and then I'm going to start up here and start sewing this on. So right now, pretty much we're just braiding this on. So that's on. I'm just going to leave that on the machine and grab this piece where I'm sewing my square onto the end of this right here. And I'm going to leave them hooked because all I'm going to do now is turn it. I'm going to press this one under towards the big huge piece. I'm just going to finger press it. And then this one is going to go towards that accent color, which is this, or the main color, I guess it is. And we're going to right sides together, the 2 of them. And even with the finger pressing, these 2 seams should nest right up. See? Should be nice and flat. Nesting perfectly. The ends should line up. Everything should line right up. And then I'm just going to sew all the way down. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and press this one towards the main fabric. So under and towards the main fabric. I don't even know if it says that on the directions, but I don't need the directions anymore once I got the main of it done. So here's my corner. Let's show you what it looks like at the cutting table. Right here. So there, it's going right back. Just like that. So now we're just going to repeat those steps for this whole entire side. So I'm going to attach this one on here, right sides together. I'm going to attach the little square onto the corner of this rectangle. I'm going to run this one first, this one second, keep them together, and then put it together. So we're going to go right back to the sewing machine. I'm going to repeat it through this whole side, and then we'll go to the other side. So this time you can see it does not line up with the end. It actually lines up with this end right here. So this end is where you want to line it up. So you just line it up at the end, take it to the start right here, and start in like that, right off that edge. Holding it where you want it to stay. Also want my seam to stay a certain way. Leaving it on the machine, grabbing that next piece. Again, it's this one onto this one. Lining it up. Sewing it through. Keep them together. I'm going to press it in.
Where did you get the seam tape at?
The seam tape you can find at Fat Quarter Shop. If you type an exclamation FQS, that takes you to a link that goes to Fat Quarter Shop. And you can find it. It's just called seam tape. I don't remember the name of the brand itself. It's something seam tape. But if you just type in seam tape, it's like the 20th thing down if you just type the word seam tape. There we go. Again. Huh? It's cheap? Yeah, it's like $5 or $6, something like that. Alright, so I'm just going to finger press this back. And this seam did not match properly. I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. Do you see? It did not create a super straight line right here. Don't be scared if it doesn't. I'm leaving it. I'm not going to rip that out. This one did. You can see they matched right up, but this one did not. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the next piece right here, and I'm going to put that on, lining up the end, lining up the other end. I mean, it's not lined up, but you know what I mean. I'm holding it down. You can pin it in place. I never pin, but that's just me because I don't like to pin. And then I'm going to find the next two pieces, slide those in, just like this, right after it. I'm not cutting my thread. And again, I'm going to finger press this towards the center, so towards the main piece. So it's that way, this way, finger pressing it that way. And this one is going towards the main fabric, which is this one. Lining it up. You can see that my seams are nesting, just like that. Just going to turn the whole project. You got to turn these a lot when you're doing these braided projects. You got to turn them often. I'm just going to make sure it stays nested. There it is right there. You can either sew off the end or just stop. Since most of our machines have a thread cutter on them now, just thread cut when you get past it. So this one lined up perfectly. So it's just that one so far that didn't, so you can see right here, this one lined up just right and nested. This is a magnetic seam guide. You can find these on Amazon, eBay, anywhere. You can find them on wish.com even. You can find them at all sorts of sites. If you get them, nothing against quilt shops, but if you get it at a quilt shop, it's going to be $6.99. If you get it on eBay or Amazon, it's going to be $1. Well, probably like $2.50 because of shipping, but still. So I'm going to sew this through. I'm going to grab my other piece and my square somewhere around here. Just like this. I'm going to put those right sides together. This fabric is so adorable. And then I'm going to finger press this towards the main. and this whole piece towards the center. And then I'm going to put it right sides together, nest my seam, and sew on down. Yeah, the seam guide helps me sew a straight line, or else I cannot keep a 1/4 inch seam for the life of me. I have tried many a project without it, and I've tried following the 1/4 inch line right here on my seam tape. I've tried following the 1/4 inch line on my needle plate. I just cannot do it at all. I just struggle. And this one lines up too, so that one's nice and straight as well. So I guess that one area just got a little off, but that's fine. I'm leaving it. I'm not plucking it. I've already sewn too many more pieces on. Alright, so let's put this back where it goes, just like that. So now that this whole side is sewn on, it's time to just scoot this down and sew this side right here. Just like this. So there's all the pieces. So I'm going to start with one, and I'm going to do that same exact procedure. I'm going to sew one on, and then I'm going to slide the other one through. But now everything is turned, so technically I'm going to be turning this whole project around like this, because now everything is the other direction. So it'd be this way.
What's the best size triangle rulers to use?
Best size triangle rulers to use? I don't know.
What is the size ones that you use?
I only have 2 size triangle rulers, and those are my strip tube rulers. A regular, I have triangle rulers somewhere. I don't know how big my triangle rulers are, guys. Sorry. So I don't know what to answer on that one. Alright, now that it's opposite, we're going to go this one first, then these 2 second. Same procedure all over again. I'm just repeating the process with the opposite side. You're going to notice that when you put this first piece on, you definitely want the end right here at the square to line up, and that other end is going to stick out over the piece like this, up there. So just slide it up in, just like that. Huh?
They're saying you have an error.
An error?
Yeah.
Where?
They're saying stop, error. I don't know.
What did I do wrong?
I don't know.
Oh, I put this one on this side. That's why, and I want it on the other side. I see.
At least they're paying attention.
Yeah. They is paying attention and I is not. Thank you, guys. That's the color, the order. Alright. Well, let's lay this back down real quick so I can make sure what I'm sewing. This one I want on this side and this one on this side. No, that would make it wrong. Hold on. Maybe my piece got messed up. That's where it is. This one goes there. That one goes there. I'm fixing it right now. This one goes here. And that one goes there. And then this one goes here. And that one goes there. Okay. I fixed it, guys. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that I was messing it up. I really wasn't messing it up, though. Honestly, it doesn't matter where the colors go. I just wanted them opposite. The picture shows them. Well, I really can't tell. The picture actually shows them different. It shows the same 2 colors. Look at this. So the picture is showing the same two colors here and here, there and there. And I'm doing them opposite because I like the more scrappy look. So I'm going to run that through. And I'm going to run this through.
Where did you get this box from again?
This is Open Gate Quilts project box. This was who knows what month, because I don't even know. Alright, so I'm just finger pressing for now. The whole thing will get pressed before it gets trimmed. I'm going to adjust this, lining up the top, nesting up my seam right here, and sewing it through.
They said they tried seam ripping like you, and now they can't go back to their old way.
Oh. So I seam rip like that unless I'm like trying to be specific on where I want to grab a seam. So I'll like, if I want to grab it a certain spot, I'll go my regular way. Because say I need to only rip out like that section or something. Then I do it the other way. But now I only seam rip this way. Mostly. Once I learned how to do it, it was like, wow, why wasn't I doing that before? Alright, the next two, I'm just going to hold this right here. The whole project, like literally right here. I'm going to grab this one, put it on here.
Bobbin tension, right?
Do I have any what?
Tips for getting the bobbin tension.
Mess with it until it's correct. Move it minuscule amounts until you have it correct. This machine, I have the bobbin tension actually tighter because it, oops, I knew I was doing something wrong. I have it tighter because this machine, for some reason, sews all so much better with the bobbin tension being tight. Not like a long arm tension, but looser. Loosey-goosey. Alright.
There he is. Everybody's been asking about you. Want to change the camera quick?
2 seconds.
So let me know when you do.
Here. Right here. He's the cutting table is on.
Kim, are you on? There's a troll. I'm picking up the fat boy. You're on it, Kim. Kim's on it.
I can't remove trolls from here.
You can't see him still.
Oh,
Put on the big camera.
It was on. Oh.
Put on the big camera. They want to see him.
There
he is. The beast.
The kitty.
Says hi, Mama.
He's like, no. Don't want to be in your face.
I'll be in your face. Huh.
Well, now you guys are just getting the frontal view of me sewing. Alright, just finger pressing that back. Come on. Grab the next piece, sew it on, and so on and so forth until this whole thing is a nice big sewn piece. Stay. Grab this, sew it through. It's so much easier when you lay the project next to you. So if you have a big table like I do, it's a lot easier. And most of you that have the, like, you know, the koala tables and so on and so forth, and all those specialty sewing tables, you do have a good amount of space to the left of you. So that's a plus. It helps, definitely. And this gets awkward, as you can see. It gets awkward to hold it up here. Because it wants to yank and pull. It doesn't want to stay straight. Alright, and last two pieces to sew on, and then I'm just going to have Scott press this whole thing as flat as possible. And then we're going to trim it, find some backing fabric, quilt it, and call it a day. Alright, so I'm going to tip it, grab this next one, lay it on here, sew it on. I like mine with the colors mixed up and not being the same. I think it looks good. I'm liking it. Again, finger pressing. I finger press everything when I'm just sitting in one spot. Nest my seam. As you can see, if you turn this sideways like this, you can see that that whole bottom piece is falling to the floor, and that's why I pick it up, because when it falls to the floor, it wants to yank the whole entire piece as I'm sewing it. It's kind of annoying. That's the only thing about doing braids. Is the keeping these on the table or flat is kind of a struggle, you know. And I've done really long ones before, and yeah, it's definitely a struggle. There's literally no borders or anything on this. It's just straight to the iron, trim, and be done. So here is what it looks like pre-iron. So you can see it has jagged edges, and that's because we're going to trim all that away. You might want to move the computer though.
Well, then you're just going to talk. Oh, you're going to go get backing fabric and batting. So yeah. It won't take me a long time.
I have batting. I'm going to grab some backing fabric and batting, guys. Is this a long enough piece?
I'll show it off my shirt.
He's wearing his Iron Man shirt. Alright, here's some batting. And let's get some backing fabric. I don't know what to use. Let's see. Squeeze past the camera. Let's do... Ooh, this will be pretty. Oh, that's kind of... No, I don't like it. Okay. Something... Oh, get over there. Like this one. Let's stick with the blue theme. Does this match?
Ooh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, it does.
Okay. Oh.
Aren't you coming over here?
Yep. Look, I chose backing fabric. It's more tablecloth fabric. Since it's a table runner, let's put tablecloth fabric on the back. And it matches. It's surprisingly very matchy-matchy.
Of course, we won't use that for anything else.
Let's see. Yep, making a table runner. Sherry says that she remembers back when she used to use muslin to back everything. I've backed quite a few things and pieced in the beginning with muslin a lot of stuff. And then I started realizing the width. See, I didn't put 2 and 2 together when I first started quilting that muslin is only like 37 inches from selvage to selvage. So I was like, why am I not getting enough cuts from this? And back then I was watching like Missouri Star videos and learning from them. Like, She says you get 16 2.5-inch squares from with the fabric, and I was only getting like 14 or 13. And I was like, what am I cutting wrong? And I realized, well, it's because I'm using muslin as my background fabric, but I didn't know any better. But muslin is good cotton because I've still used muslin to this day for the back sides of lots of things. Not the backing, but like, you know, when you need to do something. And I've used it quite a few embroidery things now, just because it's great to play with. Oop. Here is my thingy. Let's move that over here for now. I'm gonna, yeah. So now it's time to trim the project. So let's go to the cutting mat now that Scotty has pressed it. Here it is.
Was your Juki hard to get used to?
No, I got used to the Juki pretty darn quick. You can see that the sections I need to trim off are literally on this cutting mat. So what I'm going to do is, wish that Scotty did not make a lump right there.
I'm sorry. You want to re-iron?
Yep. Sorry. Nothing against your pressing skills.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, guys. I'm just fixing some stuff real quick. That way I have a nice straight cut when I go to trim the excess.
Well, where's your bra case?
It's over there behind the sewing machine.
You can't see it apparently.
Oh, yeah, it's behind the sewing machine. The one that's over there. The brother machine. It's behind the brother. But if you guys want to see it up close and personal, here you go. Booby case. Alright. Nice and flat, nice and flat, nice and flat. There we go. Perfecto. Alright, here. That's enough of that thing. Yeah, I took it off because I was cleaning up in here, so I moved it. I'm just going to lift these sides up like this. I'm going to grab me a long ruler like this, and I am going to line it up. What does it say in the pattern? It probably says, but I'm just going to see real quick. Oh, it says 1/4 inch. So it says from this center point right here, where these two combine, to take your 1/4 inch line and line that up on there. I'm not going to do that because I actually have more like 1/2 inch. Let's see, 1/4 inch. Alright, 1/2 inch almost. I'm going to go to the very possible edge that I can go to. Just like this. And I'm going to make this cut. You can see I can pull most of these away like that. And then I'm just going to come right here, line my ruler back up, and cut that end piece off. So it gives me more 1/2 square triangles, honestly. And then I'm going to line this one up and cut this end off. And I'm going to repeat on the opposite side.
Is that navy blue fabric that's in the picture there for anything?
Yeah, this is for the binding.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to repeat that same process. I'm going to go right to my 1/2 inch mark, line it up, make sure it's nice and straight. Right at that edge, you can see it's coming right over perfectly. Right there. Right there. Make my cut, pull the most of them away, just like that. Straighten up the bottom. And you can measure out from the center. That's what I usually do with braids, is measure out from the center, but this one is, you know, staying in the funky position that it's in. So there's all that chopped off. And that is the direction it's going to be. So now we're going to quilt it. But first we got to cut some backing fabric. So I got this backing fabric. Let's see how. So I'm going to cover it in width all the way. Oh, that's kind of short. So we'll just take the whole entire 1.5 yards here. And I'm going to lay this on the ironing board to do this because it's a bigger surface. So I'm just going to tilt you guys facing the ironing board. Because I'm going to cut away all this extra fabric.
What is broadcloth?
Broadcloth is thicker, isn't it? Than, for those, you can correct me, it's cotton, but it's, I think it's thicker than regular quilting cotton. Oh, I needed this on.
Well, you didn't tell me that. I thought you were done. Why don't you let me iron? Why don't you let me iron? It's just one big huge piece.
Oh, because I'm putting the 3 layers together.
Okay.
I think broadcloth is used probably for lining inside clothing, you know? That's my own personal thought of what it could be used for. Alright, we're going to put my batting down.
Is there a link to get this pattern from Open Gates, or you just go to Open Gate Quilts?
Go to Open Gate Quilts, and then you can press the contact button and ask Monique if she still has the pattern. I'm pretty sure she'll get the pattern separate. She'll do the pattern separate. She's pretty sweet. You guys will like her.
Well, they're all asking where it came from and how to get it.
Yeah.
So they like it.
She might even, I'm not 100% sure, but she might even be able to do the kits on their own. People ask on Becca's too, because Becca does Open Gate Quilts, and I should ask Monique for a fact what she's willing to do for kits like this, you know? Alright, so I'm going to lay this on here where I would like it to sort of land. I'm going to smooth it out on my cotton batting. Actually, I'm going to move it down just a hair because definitely don't want to run out of room. I have that problem with things that are not fully square or rectangular. Running out of space because the edges are all bias on this. Along the 2 sides, not the corners, but the sides, they're all biased. So I'm ironing it onto my batting. My batting is not iron on. I'm just heating it up to it because it won't move as much if you heat it up. You can also baste it with some spray. I'm going to cut away all this excess now.
It's called Diamond in the Rough,
Yep.
right?
Yep. All right. I have enough for one more table runner left.
Well, they asked about your winning ribbons back there. What did you win? And what did you enter?
Winning ribbons came from my local show. And then the big, huge ribbon that you guys don't see over there is from the SewingMachinesPlus virtual show. All right.
Tell them about the one you entered for the local one, the big, huge monster.
I entered. So here we go. We'll turn this way. Back to where I go. This way. This ribbon I won Viewer's Choice on a big Mariner's Compass Star quilt. And this one I won Sponsor's Choice on that same quilt. So I got lots of choice awards on that quilt. All right. We're going to put a walking foot on the machine and move all this junk. And I'm actually going to quilt it with the cream thread that's already being used, the cotton cream Aurifil thread that I have on here, because it matches nicely. But you can match a blue to it if you want or something. I don't feel like rolling any new bobbins, so just going to use what I already have going on. Just attaching my walking foot right now. So it's going to be like a machine gun for those of you who haven't heard the walking foot on the Juki. This thing is loud and annoying. That's why I don't really ever use it. But because of what I'm doing, I want everything to stay together properly. So I'm going to use my walking foot. Alright. So I'm going to bring the quilt over here, and I'm going to start in the middle by going around the square. I'm also going to change my stitch length to a 3, which is like 10 stitches per inch. And if you guys would like to watch, we'll go here to the sewing machine so that you can watch it quilt. So I'm just going to come right here. I'm going to drop my needle. I'm using a 14 titanium needle, by the way, if you guys are curious. And I'm just going to stitch and ditch. I'm holding it nicely. I'm not moving or adjusting anything. Coming right here. I'm just stitching in a ditch all the way around the center square. Or next to the ditch, around the ditch, near the ditch. Just stitching close to it. Close to in it. I'm doing the best I can. One more stitch. Turn it. Probably picking all this stuff up with it. Oh yeah, you guys are seeing some boobies right now. Sorry. My tattoo is in the camera.
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah, you're very good.
Alright. I'm just making sure everything is staying nice and flat. And I'm smoothing it out as I do this. One more, right there. Turn it again. Keeping everything nice and smooth.
You should have just said you're seeing my fairy.
You're seeing my fairy.
You should have just
And I'm going to come to where I started. I'm also going to snip away my starter thread. Alright. Now all I'm going to do is stitch in all these channels all the way around. So I'm just going to come in from the edge, keep it nice and smooth, and stitch in all of these. Is it vibrating?
Every time you move it, it's just like
Oh.
too much blast when they move the camera. No one said it. It's a lot when you move the whole quilt around. I guess
When I'm not free motion quilting on the long arm, I always stitch in a ditch like this, and I don't do anything by the rules. I don't pin baste. 90% of the time I don't want to smell the spray baste. So I just lay this on here and use the iron to like make it nice and flat on all the layers, and then I kind of just give it a little bit of tug and always like fan the project out towards the edges as I'm quilting it to keep it like as flat as possible.
Okay, it's not far right now.
Okay. Well, it is on a wobbly stand. As long as I don't hit it.
It's not that, it's
Oh.
It's not you going through and sewing, it's when you turn it. They don't mind it. It's good for them, it's good for all.
They like it when they can see all the camera angles. So they're probably just happy to have all the camera angles, aren't you guys? On this last one, I'm just going to go along the edge. Just to get it to stay flat. I'm wondering if this mic is connected because I keep hitting it. Alright, now for the opposite side.
Is it still free motion quilting if I draw a pattern on the quilt?
If you draw a pattern on it, it's still free motion quilting because you're putting your free motion quilting foot on and you're moving your fabric under your needle according to whatever you draw out. So yes.
It's you doing it, it's not a computer, so it's free
It's
motion
you
quilting.
doing it, not a
As long as you
computer.
do it.
Exactly. I think I'm out of bobbin. Did I run out? Oh, I did run out of bobbin over there.
Did you get your August Open Gates box yet?
Nope. Wait. Yeah, no. Was that August? I don't know. I don't remember. Did I do a video for it? You'd have to go look in my videos and see. Because if it is, it would be the first video that I did recently. That's how you know if I did it or not. I don't remember these things. I have a lousy memory. Alright. Now I can start on this side. So I'm just keeping it all flat. As flat as I can possibly keep it. Oh, nope, I went too far. Another one. And then I'm going to go back and get all the squares. so I'm going to get around the squares and the triangles. And I'm going to try to make that work out where I just go back and forth from one end to the other. Hopefully. We'll see.
Are you gonna make the boho heart quilt with T?
No, but I do have one to quilt. It's not mine. It was somebody else's, and I have access to the pattern, so I can make it, but I don't think I'm gonna do it as the sew along. I'm trying not to give myself too many things to do this year. So I didn't join the sew along. Because if I did make the pattern, I would be using 100% scraps. Alright, so now I'm going to go across these right here. And then I'm going to figure out around these guys. Which I should have been doing the whole time, but I didn't. I'm going to go across here. Go across the rest of the way. Just gonna drop my thread in right next to them, and then I'll figure out the squares. And then I gotta do something in the center, because that way I don't have that much of an empty gap in the center. And then we'll snip away all my threads after I get it fully done. Because the center of this thing has quite a bit of openness, so it needs something more to hold it down. That way it doesn't bunch up in the wash or anything like that, and always lays flat. Alright, now for these guys.
Tattoo.
Alright.
That'd be funny, honey.
What, a tattoo of a quilt on me?
A quilt tattoo, I don't know.
I thought about it, but, you know, probably not. Maybe something that represents quilting for me I can get tattooed, but I don't have the money for tattoos right now. I spend it all on fabric and thread and batting and backing fabric, and you know, I just don't have time for tattoos anymore, it seems like. Alright, now for this other side. Just gonna go from inside to the outside. I'm trying not to double stitch anywhere. That's what I'm doing, if you guys were curious. That's why I'm just individually stitching on all these areas instead of going over previous stitches. Because my stitch in a ditch is more like stitch next to a ditch.
What kind of foot are you using?
This is a walking foot that comes with my Juki. So you have to make sure you get the one that's for your machine. They do sell, for older machines, they do sell aftermarket walking foots. Because my old brother had one. I got it for after the fact, and it fit it just fine. Alright, 2 more places, and then I just need to get in the center something. I'm just probably going to stitch another square in the center just so that it's nicely stitched down. Okay, so I'm going to come to the center and stitch a square somehow, some way. We'll start about, that should be good right here. Let's see. Oh, and the cool part about walking foots, I'm just going to go 2.5 inches, is I can actually line my walking foot up with the edge of a ruler like this and notably mark where I want to be, pull the ruler away, and then when I want to stop 2.5 inches from the edge, I can. So I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to come down until I can see. So I just need a couple more stitches right there, and that should be 2.5 inches from the edge. I'm going to pivot and go down 2.5 inches from the edge to this other side. I'm just going to try to keep it right here without hitting my ruler. I want my needle 2.5 inches from the edge. I'm not sewing with the ruler, I'm just using it. Oh, see, that's way far. Whatever, I'm still going. Right here.
What stitches per inch are you using in your thread size?
3, it's on 3 millimeter, which is like 10 stitches per inch. I always do that for walking foot stitching, or like on my bags and stuff. I always do it on a 3. It looks clean to me, that's why. Alright, I'm just gonna stitch down these sides.
Can you sew along the ruler?
You cannot with this walking foot. Actually, you can on this side of it. So it fits under the walking foot on the left side of the walking foot, as you can see. But it does not on the right side because the walking foot fits lower. Just stitching a top stitch down on these sides like a base. And let's go down the opposite side now. So you can do it that way on the right side every time like that. But I would don't want to take the chance of it getting ran over. Huh?
What thread size are you using?
Orifil 100% cotton. GR 140. I don't know. It feels like 50 weight, but I can't tell because I don't see the numbers in there. But it's most likely 50 weight. Alright, let's go to the front camera so that I can pluck all these strings. So here it is so far. Everything stayed flat and did not bunch up, as you can see. I'm just going to go through now and pick all of my start threads on all these edges, and then I got to go on the back side and clip all those threads as well. Trying to keep it a little cleaned up. Did I get all the top threads? I did. Now for all these back ones. And then we'll bind it. And I don't this tool. I've never used this binding miter tool, so I'm going to see what that's all about by seeing what it says. Because I, again, have never used anything like that. I just bind the only way that I know how. Alright, got the last of it. Since I didn't stitch really heavy on this, it's not that many stitches to snip the ends of. Just the tops. It's mainly where I snip the thread by using the thread cutter on the machine. It always leaves a little tiny tail. Alright. Let's go to the cutting mat. And now we're going to cut this out. This should go quite quickly because I'm just following the edges of the quilt top. There's that. There's that. As you can see, it stayed very square.
When finished machine quilting, do you have to iron in order to set the stitches?
No, you do not need to iron after machine quilting to set any stitches. Now you can iron it after machine quilting if you want it to lay flatter, like if it puffed up like this did a little bit. But that's just with any quilting. It's going to have a little bit of puff because of the kind of batting that I used. If I would have used a thinner cotton batting, then it wouldn't have puffed like it did, but it's not a big puff. It's nice, as you can see. So it's like that. You can see kind of the puff a little bit. But it lays nice and flat. This is almost fully square right here. It's just a little off right there. Alright, let's check out this binding miter tool. I might not use it, and I think it's just for these corners, but I know how to do these corners all on my own, but we're going to see if the tool says anything specific. Oh, it wants you to cut the strips across the grain or bias approximately 2.5 to 3 inches. Sew the strips together end to end. Fold the strips lengthwise, wrong sides. Press will be 1/4. Stitch on the binding. Raw edges even and layers the quilt. Seam allowance. I'm not understanding this. Oh, it's just like how to fold it, I guess. Fold the corner to the adjacent one. So it really wants you to line up your 90-degree fold, and then it has the 60-degree fold on how you should change it. But I know how to do that all on my own.
What's the batting you used?
I just used a cotton, I think this is the 80/20 actually. It's a big scrap of something. It's 80/20, I think. That's what it feels like, the 80/20. But it almost feels exactly like my white cotton. Follow the angle to bind, miter, proper angle, stitch to the end, use the tool to clip, making a stitch mark line. Well, I already know how to do this on my own, so we're just going to place this in here. because I don't want to confuse you guys or myself with a tool. Alright, let's cut these binding strips. Just cutting 2.5-inch strips. I'm just going to line
Linda
these.
tried the binding tool and didn't like it because her corners do not look nice or had a nice miter.
Oh, yeah, I can do it just fine on my own. Alright, I'm just going to cut a bunch of 2.5-inch strips off of here. Definitely I'm going to be changing my blade after this video because it's really annoying. So we're just going to cut 2.5-inch strips. Should get 4 from this. It looks like it. 3. And this should be number 4. Oy, oy, oy. Exactly 2.5 left. Look at that. Just slightly. Alright. So I'm going to hook these all end to end to end. And we're going to make some binding. And when I say end to end, we're just going to lay one here. And I'm not pressing these now because they're getting pressed anyway when I iron. I'm going to lay the other one right sides together, but in the shape of an L, and I'm going to be just pulling the next piece up and continuing on doing that over and over. So let's go to the machine, and I'm just going to keep my walking foot on, although I'm not going to like binding with this walking foot, so screw it, I'm going to change it. You know why? Because it fell off. The thread came out. That's the word I was looking for. You guys can watch me change the foot right here. What happened to the screen? So it comes off just like that. This is, I don't know why they designed this for the Juki. This thing is enormous. It's loud. They should have made something super easy for the Juki, honestly, for a walking foot. I've seen the even feet or the walking feet for other machines, and they look way simpler than this big old beast of a... I mean, it's heavy too. This is heavy. It makes it hard to sew certain things because of its bulkiness. Like when I'm making bags, I definitely don't like using my walking foot because it's way too bulky. Alright, rethread this machine.
They want to watch you put the metal seam guide on.
Oh, I'm not going to use that until we get to the binding part. Come on, get through. There we go. Thank you. Look at that. I was able to use my threader. So, lining them up like this. It's a little bit of a hangover because of the holes in the fabric that run along the selvage. I'm going to change my stitch length back down to a 2, and I'm going to sew from one corner down to the next. I'm going to grab that next piece, flipping it right side up, right side down. Again, I'm avoiding the holes in the fabric. Can you guys see that? Those little holes. That's an all fabric. I do my best to avoid it, but sometimes I end up cutting right along the edge of them. But I do my best to avoid them. I don't think we need 4 binding strips, but I'm going to put them all together anyway because I have a whole drawer filled with scrap binding leftovers. Alright. Take this over and trim these. So I just bring this up here so it's not falling. And since I use my little cut off pieces, I actually, most of the time when I'm alone and not filming anything, I actually cut off sides first so that those can go in the garbage so that this is ready for me when I go to make something else. Because I use all my cutoffs for, mainly lately for hourglass blocks, but so they go in a special container that I've been throwing them all in. And then the only thing left to do is press it real quick and attach it, and then we'll be done with this whole entire quilt, the table runner, in one video. Oops, let's put that with that. Alright, move all those out of the way. I'm just going to finger press them for now. I got to get the iron going. So that way I can press this real quick, and I'm just going to put you guys on the front face camera.
Why is this not working? How can I get rid of these people?
What's not working? The spam thing?
Yeah. It's like delete them. I can't. This computer's too slow.
Yeah.
Getting trolls tonight. I got them. It just took forever.
Sorry that we're being trolled tonight, guys.
I can iron.
I'm just making binding faster.
Wait, you almost stepped on somebody there. I guess he could move though.
He was in front of the long arm earlier. He wouldn't move, so I didn't even do anything because he wasn't moving away from my feetsies.
He's sniffing your feet now. You don't bite Mama. You bite Daddy all you want. Come on.
Sorry guys, I didn't tilt the camera so you can see me over there. Sorry. There we go. It's different because you guys are on the laptop when it's a face me camera. And if you guys could see down there, the cat's tail is tickling my legs. Because he's like down there on the floor. Now you know why I didn't press the fabric to begin with, because I'm pressing it now, so that would be double the work of pressing. So I just cut it and pressing right here on the folding it in half part. I like the less work the better. That's my thing with the quilting. Anything to not have to do too much work. That's why I went ahead and had Scott in the beginning of my quilting journey make me this big huge ironing board, because it's less work with a bigger ironing board, because I can press bigger quilt tops a lot easier than on a small ironing board that you have to keep moving and moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. I could do big huge blocks on it and everything. Makes it easier. I'm all about easy. Alright, binding is ready. Just like that. All of that binding for this little tiny project. Alright, let's put it on here so I could teach you guys the corners for 60 and 90 degree binding corners, because you get a nice close-up of it. Alright, here we are at the machine. I need my magnetic seam guide, which went somewhere. Oh, there it is. I just put the magnet down on here, and I use my fingers to push it right up to the 1/4 inch line right here.
Do you use your pink binding pressing mat?
My pink binding. Oh yeah, the binding thing. Yes. It's just not on the, I don't keep it on the ironing board because the ironing board has multiple uses. But yes, I still do use it. Alright, I'm going to leave a nice long
so you showed them how to put that magnet
tail.
on? I
Yeah.
kind of interrupted you.
Yes.
You need to do it again?
No.
Okay.
Alright, my nice long tail. I'm going to bring this over here. Oops, I want it on the back than the front. Sorry guys, I'm 100% all about the binding being on the front side of my quilts. Alright, I left a nice long tail. Okay, here we go. In the back stitch, I'm going to change my stitch length to about a 2.56, somewhere around there, 2.5, 2.6. And just going to line it up and stitch it on. Now here is a 60 degree that we're coming up to. So I'm coming up to it, you can see right there. So I'm going to do the same thing I always do, and I'm going to stop a 1/4 inch from the edge of that. So if you don't know where that is, just, you get used to it after a while. So it's a 1/4 inch away. Now instead of going straight out like we would because it's a 90, we're actually going to go up like this. So we're going to line it up this way so that this edge now is equal with this edge. So it's totally different corner. And then I'm going to come back on right here, and I'm going to fold up this little corner right here, and it's barely a turn. It's not like you think. So when the underside comes over, it's just barely curved. So it kind of comes in a 45 on it. You can see that. It makes like a little pie shape. I'm going to just turn this and come in a 1/4 inch to where that little piece ends. I'll start right there, come down to my 90 degree corner, and do my normal 90. Stop a 1/4 inch from the edge. Probably went too far on that one. Yes, I did. One stitch too far. And always happens, especially when I'm on camera, because I try to go fast. Even though I shouldn't, because I'm trying to show you guys what to do. So here's my normal corner for a 45 degree miter. You just come out like this and flip it over. Oops.
How thick should they be?
How thick should what be?
Whatever you just said. That was just the question.
It shouldn't be thick at all. I'm going to hold it in place because it's lined up on the edge. Turn it. That one I come in from the edge. The other one I didn't, because I want to be able to flip it so you can see right here when I flip this one to the other side. It's just a tiny miter. I'm coming down to another 60 degrees. I'm going to stop a 1/4 inch from the edge. This is about right where I just left my finger. I'm going to tip this all the way up so that it's aligned with the edge. We're not going out away from us like this. We're going up with the edge like this. I'm going to hold it in place, and my finger is right here, 1/4 inch. So I just have a little bit of a fold there. I could feel where I want to start my stitching again right here. I'm just making a little crease. I'm going to come in and start my stitching right there. The only one that I struggle with on corners like that is on scalloped borders. If you have a finished quilt that's scalloped, that's the one I struggle with. Angles like this, I'm okay with. So again, I'm coming to a 60 degree. Just going to come right up to my normal 1/4 inch away. Tip the whole thing up so that it's equal this direction. Flip it down, lining this corner up with the edge of the quilt, just like that. Put it under and stitch. And I'm going to show you guys the stitch real quick. I'm just going to break right there so that you can see. I ended right here a 1/4 inch from the edge. There's that. And then when I did my fold, I started a 1/4 inch from the edge so that these two stitches meet up right here. So that one meets up with that one. That's all I did. So it's just tipped so that when you turn it over, oops, and I should go on that real quick because it's got a little tiny itty bitty gap. Little tiny itty bitty gap. I don't like the gap. Alright. But that's what we're looking for. So this one is a regular 90 or 45 in the end. You know what I'm saying. Right here. Come out. It's nice and straight. Fold it along the edge on this one. And then I just come in from the edge. One last 60. Gonna come up, stop a 1/4 inch from the edge, bring it up like this, hold that corner. My finger is always in that corner, always close to the edge, just like that. And lining it up, I make a little crease where I want to start my stitching, put my needle down in it, and then continue on. Alright, now to regularly do the binding right here at the cutting table. See, I definitely only needed 3 strips for that. That's okay. So I'm going to cut away my excess. I'm just going to combine it the same way I always do. Just gonna line my ruler up on it. See, and I went too far. I don't like when I do that, especially when I'm on camera. Just pluck some of those stitches out. That way I can fold it up to hook it together. Alright, nice and flat. Putting this top one over it. I'm gonna put my ruler in between. You can use the fabric itself as your marking. So like this is 2.5 right here. This is where you would want to put it because you know it's 2.5, so you can line the fabric piece up with it like this and then cut at that edge of that fabric piece. Some people do that when they're sitting at the machine. I do that when I'm not on camera, and most of the time when I teach you guys, it's easier to do the ruler way like this because you can just lay the piece right on top like this. Find your scissors. Where did I leave myself? They're way over there.
Where? Here. I get them. Nope.
I hold the ruler in the place that it's in. I take my scissors and go in between this layer right here and the other layer, and I line it up against the ruler. So that way I always have a nice straight cut like that. And this is my 2.5 inch by 8 inch ruler from Missouri Star. You can tell this thing is very well loved and used because it is scratched all to hell. Alright, let's go over to the machine again and sew this together. So I just move my magnetic seam guide out of the way because it will be in my way if I don't. Just going to take this top piece, lay it right here, just like this. I'm going to take this bottom one up to me, just in the position that it's laying in, and put it right sides together, aligning just like this. And if you have to bunch up the quilt, then do so. Just going to align it on here just like this, and sew from corner to corner. Make sure you change your stitch length back down because you want this final seam to stay together. And we're sewing corner to corner of the bottom one. I open it up and go, oh hey, that's correct, and then snip the excess away. Nice 1/4 inch seam, or close enough to 1/4 inch seam. Finger press to one side or the other, it don't matter unless you're pressing open. I open it back up. I always put my seam guide back because I want everything to stay lovely and exactly the right size. Come about 1 inch above where I ended. I don't even back stitch, and I just go Yay! It matched up all the way. Just like that, and then I go about an inch beyond where I started. So there's that. Now, I don't need this because I'm following the edge of the quilt instead. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to pull this to the front like this. And again, I'm not using a coordinating color. It's not blue, it's the cream. That way you guys can see every last bit of it. So I'm going to stitch 1/8 of an inch from this fold right here. I also do a stitch length 3 millimeter, which is about 10 stitches per inch. And I'm going to come down here. And I have my tiny little miter that we're going to come up to. Oops. Give me 2 seconds. I went off the fabric because I was trying to do 5 bazillion things at once. Come on, get off of there. I'm trying to stay 1/8 of an inch from the edge nicely. Alright. Right there. Okay, we're going to come up to this corner here, like this, and I'm going to fold this bottom up to it, like this. Trying to straighten it all out so you guys can see. And this little tiny miter right here is just going to get folded down on top of it. Just like this, and those corners are going to meet, and it's going to look nice and straight. So I'm going to come up to it like this. I'm holding it in place because I don't ever use the stiletto to show you guys. See how I barely have a fold right here? It's literally just barely. Little tiny fold. I'm going to match up the ends. There's a little bit more because it wants to shift on me. Just back this way, please. Thank you. Right here. There we go. I'm going to put this stiletto down on it. Stitch right up to it. Tilt it and continue on. That one's a very easy miter to do because it's so small. And then this bottom one, I'm just gonna fold it so that you guys can see. Get close to it because I don't think it's in camera yet. Alright, folding the bottom up, or you can fold the side. You can use your stiletto to straighten it out and fold this over, or any other type of tool that you have for this, and you line that corner up so that this corner and that corner meet up. I'm going to try to go slow, but that's impossible for me. And there we have that. Quite simple. I just use my fingers to fold everything down.
Can you show the back of that corner?
So here's the back of this little corner.
They wanted to see.
Here's the 60 on the back of that. Can you see it? And then there's the front. Just ever so slightly cornered. And then here's the 45. Here's the back of the 45. You can't even tell I have a seam back there. A little tiny thing. Alright, here we're at this 60 again. Just going to take this bottom, bring it up to it, and I'm literally, look, this is all I'm doing. I'm pushing it to about right here, and then I'm bringing this top to it. That's all I'm doing. Matching them right up. So I'm going to sew right up to it, pivot, and sew away. Literally that simple. Those ones are the easiest ones. And then I'm just going to sew 1/8 of an inch from the edge really fast down this side. I use my fingers to hold the, I do like to get rid of these long threads like this. I use my fingers, my nail, to shove a nice straight fold so that it stays nice. And then I use my fingers also against to hold it down so that I don't have to clip it or anything. And literally, my fingers are everything here. Lots of motion with them. So again, I'm coming up to another 60 because there's 4 on this whole entire thing and only 2 45s. I'm going to fold this and come down a little bit more, making sure that we're in camera. I'm going to start with putting the bottom up this way. I'm going to have my finger or my stiletto stop about right here and just bring this down to it. Straighten this out under here. Literally, it's just like that. Move my finger and it's right here. The corners meet up. Use the tool to hold, pivot, and sew.
Turn it over, will your stitches match on the back?
Will my stitches match what on the back? When I turn it over, there's always a line. So when I turn this over, you can see my, oops, right there, there's the camera. There's a stitch line that goes about 1/8, it's about 1/4 inch away almost from the edge of the binding. They are the same as what you would see right here on the top, right there. So here's my 45 we're coming up to. I'm going to snip all this thread mess away. Just folding it up. I just use my fingers for this. So you can see my corner right here. I push that under just a smidge. Meets up with the other corner, creating a perfect miter. I'm just using the sharp part of the stiletto, come right up to it, turn it, stitch down the next side. I never use the stiletto, so this is like a first for me, showing you guys all this using the stiletto to hold everything down. Okay, on the last corner right here. So again, just going to come a little closer so you can see I'm very close here. The bottom comes up, move that foot, and then tip this down. I have a thread sticking out. If you go too far, it'll stick out too far, and you don't want that. And I kind of just went a little far. There we go, right there. So I'm going to put my foot back down, stitch right to that, pivot, and come down. Trying to get all the wild threads as well, which I usually tuck in as I go. So I'm gonna put this away before I stab myself with it. And I give it a slight tug. You can see me kind of pulling down here. Just keeping everything nice and flat on my way to where I started. Right there, back stitch, pull away, snip my thread, snip my thread. And there we have it, fully bound. So you can see they meet up right there. See that? It's barely anything, and then my 45s meet up right there, just like that. And then here's a 60 again. This one got a little wrinkle in it, but that's okay, because if I was to take the stiletto and just kind of, I don't have my stiletto, I already put it away, but push it out a little bit, that gets rid of that crease because it just pushed the fabric down. There's another one. de-threading as I go because this blue fabric was very sheddy. So there's that. There's another 45. There's another 60. This one kind of overlaps just a little bit, as you can see. It's like ever so slightly, but it's perfect for me. It's perfect for me. That's all that matters. All that matters. All that matters. All right. All right, guys. Let's go to the cutting table so you can see the whole thing finished. Here we are. Look at that. Perfect. It lays super flat. It's beautiful. The back is this cool, tablecloth looking fabric. I really do need to go and de-shed that blue fabric from sticking out of all my seams. Other than that, it looks cute. The blue matches. Look at that. It's like perfect. It was meant to be. It was a meant to be fabric here in my room, in my stash.
Yeah, when you first handed it to me, I didn't think it would match, but it does. It looks
Yep.
good.
So there that is. I like it. So let's go up here. I'll hold it up this way under the lighting so you guys could see the fabrics up close and personal. You can see the corners. Beautiful. It's covered in thread, but it's beautiful. So there that is. Does anybody have any questions? Again, the pattern is Diamond in the Rough. It's supposed to be 16.5 by 45.5, and let's see if I'm correct on that. 16.5. And I guess from tip to tip is supposed to tell me if I'm 45. I don't know.
They said never question the quilt queen.
21 and 21 and 3/4 plus 21 and 3/4.
42, 43.5.
So it's 43.5 instead of 45.5, guys. So it's not the exact measurements of hers, but again, you can ask Monique over at Open Gate Quilts. This is a 2022 pattern. Her copyright on it's 2022, so I'm 100% sure she probably is able to get more of these patterns out for everybody. Anybody that wants them, just give her a message over there. Tell her Tiffany sent you, because I totally forgot to ask her what she does about stuff like that when I make my patterns, you know, because a lot of people have asked. So thank you guys. It was fun to do. All right, well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I've been on for quite some time, but I finished the whole thing in the video, binding and all, and I appreciate you guys hanging out and learning and correcting me when I made my little tiny mistake.
Yeah, they caught that.
Yep, you guys caught it before me. Usually it takes me the whole, finish, and I'm like, oh, dang it. So, all right, guys. All right, so I will see you next Sunday. I don't really have anything during the week unless I pop on randomly, because I did not record anything this week. I'm whatever. So I'll see you guys next Sunday at 5 p.m. Bye for now. Oh, which one do I do that?